Hey everyone, welcome. If you've got a spider plant, then you've probably noticed those long, dangly stems with tiny little baby plants at the end. Well, guess what? Today, we're going to turn that into your own personal superpower. Ready to become a plant cloning genius? Let's dive in.
Seriously, take a good look at your plant. Those little offshoots, the ones people call pups, they are not just for decoration. Every single one is a perfect little copy of the mother plant. And you know what that means? An endless supply of brand new, totally free plants.
And the best part? It is ridiculously easy once you know a few little secrets. I'm going to walk you through a method that is basically foolproof, so you can multiply our collection, give away amazing gifts, or just fill your home with even more green. Trust me, by the end of this, you are going to be a pro.
Okay, first things first. You might be thinking this is all about just getting more plants, but believe it or not, it's actually way more than that. Propagating these little pups is, well, it's a huge part of keeping your main spider plant super healthy and happy.
I want you to think of it like this. Each one of those pups is basically attached by an umbilical cord. It's constantly pulling water and nutrients from the main plant. And if you let too many of them grow, they start to drain all that precious energy that the mother plant needs for her own beautiful leaves. So here's the key takeaway. Taking these pups off isn't just about making new plants, it's essential maintenance. Some gardeners call it a cleaning prune. By snipping them off, you send all that wasted energy right back to the parent. The result? A much stronger, fuller, and healthier plant overall. So, the million-dollar question, when is the right time to actually make the cut? This is where so many people trip up, but our first pro secret is all about perfect timing. You get this right, and you're pretty much guaranteed to succeed. Now, the number one mistake people make is looking at the size of the leaves. You'll see a big, impressive-looking pup and you'll think, oh yeah, that one's definitely ready. But that's actually not the best way to tell. The real signal, the pro signal, isn't about the leaves at all. It's about the roots. Get in there and look really close at the base of the pup. What you're looking for are these little white nubs or even short roots already starting to grow. That is the plant telling you, hey, I'm ready to live on my own. And hey, while you can technically do this any time of year indoors, your success rate will absolutely skyrocket if you do it in spring or autumn. Why? It's simple, really. The temperatures during these seasons are just perfect for root growth. It puts way less stress on your brand new little cutting. All right, on to our second secret. And this one is a big deal. It's non-negotiable. You have to treat this step like it's a mini surgical procedure, because from the plant's perspective, that's exactly what it is. We're talking about a perfect, clean cut. Just think about it for a second. A fresh cut on a plant is an open wound. That makes it super vulnerable to all kinds of nasty bacteria and fungi. If you use a dirty tool, you're basically inviting an infection that can cause rot and kill your new clone before it even gets a chance to grow. The professional way to do this is super simple, but it's so important. Get a cloth, put some isopropyl alcohol on it, and then actively rub the blades of your scissors. Don't just dip them. That friction is what really gets everything clean and sterile. So, why isopropyl alcohol specifically? Well, it's a fantastic sterilizer, of course. But the real kicker is that it won't cause your nice metal tools to rust, unlike some other cleaners. This keeps them sharp and makes them last a whole lot longer. Okay, you've timed it perfectly, you've made a sterile cut, and you have a beautiful little pup in your hand. Now you've got a choice to make. There are 3 great ways to get this little guy to root, and each one has its own pros and cons. Let's break them down. So here's the quick and dirty. You can root it in water, which is really cool because you can literally watch the roots grow day by day. You can plant it directly into soil, which gives you the strongest roots right from the start. Or you can try the attached method, which is by far the safest, most foolproof option out there, especially if you're a beginner. Now, here is a really important piece of plant science. Roots that grow in water are physically different from roots that grow in soil. Water roots, they're kind of fragile and built for living in liquid. When you finally move them to soil, they get a little shocked. But soil roots, they're tough and ready for life in the dirt right from day one. So, no matter which way you go, you're eventually going to need some soil. And that brings us to our final secret, how to engineer the perfect soil mix. This is your number one defense against the ultimate enemy of new cuttings, root rot. First rule, forget about using potting mix straight out of the bag. A real pro blend needs structure and drainage. A fantastic recipe to start with is about 60% good quality potting mix, 30% perlite, and 10% fine pine bark. But why this exact mix? Well, it all comes down to science. The potting mix is your nutrient base. The perlite, and this stuff is essential, creates tiny air pockets so the roots can get oxygen. They need to breathe. And the pine bark adds some structure and makes sure water drains away super fast. This mix is literally engineered for happy roots.
You did it! The hard part is over. Your cutting is all snug in its fancy custom soil. Now, let's just quickly cover how to take care of it during these first few critical weeks to make sure your new clone doesn't just survive, but thrives. Your new little plant is going to need a lot of bright but indirect light. That light is the fuel it needs to build a strong root system. But be careful, direct sunlight is way too harsh. It'll scorch those delicate leaves like a bad sunburn, and that's the last thing it needs right now.
Okay, this might be the trickiest part of the whole thing. The soil needs to stay consistently moist to help those roots grow. But, and this is a big but, moist does not mean saturated. Waterlogged soil is the enemy. You want it to feel like a well-wrung out sponge.
And what about plant food? How much fertilizer does your new baby need? The answer is simple. 0. None. Nada. The fresh potting mix has plenty of nutrients to get it started, and adding fertilizer now can actually burn those brand new delicate roots. Just wait a couple of months until you see lots of new growth. And that's it. You've got it. You now know the science and the secrets. By timing your cut right, using clean tools, and creating the perfect environment, your spider plant has officially become a full-on clone factory. So the only question left is, how many are you going to make?